There's no getting around the subject that years do acquire. And what do we get? Confirmation of the need to constantly be in motion. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. How do I describe this book? Originally, it was about a word art historians use called Alterstil, which is older style. Matisse, Rembrandt, Beethoven, major breakthroughs, but only because they had accumulated a lifetime of experience. I was a very, very good dancer. In fact, I was a great dancer. However, the given for any professional dancer is your career is over. Probably it's getting there about the time you turn 33, 34, 35, and you've been working at this since you were 5 years old. And suddenly the rest of your life is beginning to look as though it's a steep decline. Aging is one of the last taboos. It's the thing that's left in the denial cabinet. We're going to deny being older. We're going to do everything we can to prove we have not turned the corner. I had to acknowledge certain things myself. You cannot believe the number of ways there are to attempt to write a book without actually cutting to the chase and saying, this book is about how you deal with, hello, you are over 75. You're going to have to say it at some point. I think that there is that element in our culture that particularly women are expected to not gain age because then they will be less than they once were. For some reason, we value how a baby looks more than how a person who's experienced all kinds of things and can inform us of a lot of stuff. Bizarre when you put it in words. I knew that I had to somehow confront and wrestle with this issue or I would be stopped. And I am not interested in being stopped. I've worked too long and too hard to stop now. We define goal as something that you can accomplish. Pledge is something you're working constantly towards that will never be finished. You will never accomplish the end point of a pledge. It will always draw you forward into new adventure. A goal can be shut down. You can get it, you've done it, it's over. And that's not ultimately valuable for a long and curious life. Age is a big part of identity. I mean, often people start with, what do you do? How old are you? Where do you come from? Those are the big identity questions. We don't have a past, but we accumulate more and more experiences. And it's constantly then a battle, a struggle, a conflict between thinking about things as over and what did you learn and how did it work, and trying to move forward, dragging this behind. And it's how can you learn from this and how do you have to let it go? Obstacles have to be resisted for your entire life. As time accumulates and the body has had more and more obstacles heaped upon it, it maybe becomes a little less resilient in handling obstacles, so you have to become stronger in how you resist the obstacle. So, push. Isometrics, it becomes a part of identity, and you each day make the resolution, the pledge, if you will, to change it. I shouldn't have to be guilty about being older. I shouldn't have to deny it to be a full human being. Well, you're just not as attractive as you used to be. And it's like, actually, I'm different than I used to be. Age is not a disease. Age is a change. And change is non-stasis. Change is not static. Which means we have to be curious about next, and we have to be not afraid of going to a new place. Who am I going to be? How am I going to become a person who can challenge themselves as much as a person who can do absolutely anything? I mean, part of life is a reward in terms of discovering who you are. Shouldn't you see what comes from the inside of you, I ask? And isn't that of interest to us culturally? I think feeling as though you're losing opportunities is what ages a person, that you feel you're becoming restricted, that you're losing options, no longer capable of 6 pirouettes to the right. Okay, yeah, all right, you're no longer capable of 6 pirouettes to the right, but what have you gained? You already know how to do 6 pirouettes to the right. Now what shall we do that happens after you've done 6 pirouettes to the right? It's a whole new way of thinking. How do you utilize the day before to launch into the next day?